Right. So we'll now be just starting across with the presentation itself. We'll be discussing a very important component in the whole application. So before I start across, to just put across a couple of more points to all of you guys, just make sure to use the chat section for any technical difficulties or glitches that you may face across. And you could mark Mohammed Shoaib for the same matter. He is accompanying me for the session today. And along with that, just get yourself a paper, pen, and you could take down a couple of notes, anything that you feel important. Today, we would be doing this session, which, as you can see, is on personal statement. This is an incredibly important part of your whole application. And I'm really excited to guide you through with the essentials of crafting the personal statement and how it truly stands out. Now, you might be asking, why is the personal statement so crucial? Well, think of it as the heart of your overall application with your grades, test scores, extracurricular activities, really highlight your academic activities and achievements. Your personal statement gives the admission committee a window into the person who you really are. It's your opportunity to tell your story, to show what really drives you, what you have learned, and where you hope to go. So let's dive in and explore what statement truly what does it really make it to shine? And what are the really important things that you should be knowing before you really take up this whole aspect of the personal statement? Now, just moving across to Let's Unbound. Let's Unbound began with a focus on skill building, empowering elementary and middle school students with STEM, life skills, and mentorship. Now, as these students progressed to high school, they started seeking college admissions guidance. And that's where we listened. We evolved our CS services to seamlessly integrate storytelling through application into our already well-established mentoring program. So now by combining personalized learning, skill development, strategic admission support, we now guide students from their early academic years to top global universities. So today we have impacted more than 4,000 students across 25 countries, delivering a lakh 25,000 hours of expert mentoring. Our commitment to excellence has earned us a 4.9 out of a 5 global rating. We are proud to have partnered with organizations as Harvard Students Agencies in the past, with Arizona State University Prep Digital as well, which has really ensured that the students that we have worked with have received a world-class educational experience. So at Let's Unbound, we don't just prepare students for exam, we prepare them for their life. Now, our two founders, along with me, Amol, he's an entrepreneur. He's been with Tata Exceed, which is India's largest edtech platform. Amol has helped scale impactful educational solutions across 2,000 schools in 6 countries and has impacted more than 250,000 students. He's really known for his ability to blend business thinking with on-ground reality and has been really instrumental in helping startups from IIT Bombay and beyond to succeed in the education space. Now, on the right, you have Nishant. Nishant is a mentor and educator, and really the brains behind many of the learning pathways that we share today with our students. With 14 plus years of experience across academia and industry, he's counseled over 1,000 students, designed curriculum solutions right from K-12 to executive MBA programs. He's an alumnus of SP Jan, a top-rated teacher, and a proud mentor of change under Atal Innovation Mission Niti Aayog. So together, they combine experience and vision and really help to shape up the approach we bring into the whole college counseling, which is personalized, practical, and future ready. Now, give you a quick introduction about myself. So I'm MBA from Symbiosis, and I have spent my last 12 years within investments and edtech. I have worked with organizations as Jaguar Land Rover, Citibank, and Standard Charter. Within education, I've worked with international players as Crimson Education and Added Education, where I picked up my expertise within the edtech industry. Now, we are post all of the introduction. I'll now just show you the presentation itself, how we'll be running through our session roadmap. We'll be first starting across by understanding the application platform itself. The personal statement is a very core aspect of the Common App. It's also very important to document when you look into the UC system. MITs have got their own certain approach to it. So what we are doing today is definitely looking at the personal statement, but it's not only going to be the Common App essay, because as some of you guys may be aware, may not be aware, that your common application is not the only system for applying to US universities. You do have the UC system, you have the MIT system, you have the MyTexas system as well. These are all different platforms. By the way, the MIT one is called MyMIT. So these are all different platforms which are used by different universities. There are also other colleges where you could also apply directly in, apart from applying with through the Common App platform. As a matter of fact, universities of Texas, Austin can be applied through the My Texas app and also through the Common Application platform. So we will be today looking into the personal statement across all of these various platforms. We'll also see these application platforms, and at the same time, we'll try to look at the components, the weightages, and as I've also already said, the different platforms themselves. Along with that, we'll see what is the personal statement, how does it differentiate across platform? What is the personal statement, the format, the restriction? Why does it matter? What are admissions officers looking for? Selecting the right prompts regardless of, the platform that you're going to be going across, the common mistakes, and then we'll move across to our overall approach that we do take with students in this area and concluding the session off with resources. So without further ado, we'll now start with the first part around admission, which should be to understand what are the ethos of US admissions before you move on to the common application, move on to the various platforms, and then eventually the personal statement. It's actually really important to understand what is a US admission officer looking for. So overall, sometimes people may have heard of the statement they're looking for a well-rounded profile, which is absolutely not true. US admission officers look for a well-lopsided profile. Initially, as of now, it may look a little bit on narrative oriented rather than being something which is factual, but on its reality, it's more of a factual concept. And what am I really saying? Within USA, and a very big differentiation with your application in India is that USA, you do not have to declare the major that you will be studying. And once that declaration is not made, it has been seen over the past years that in out of every 10 application, 3 to 5 students do not write down their major. Now, with that being an aspect and allowing an equal level playing field for everyone, the US admissions are not major centric. Right? You do not get any brownie points for doing things specifically in just the major. They want to see an overall profile and overall personality. And the personality and the profile that they're looking for is called that well lopsided profile. And I think the best way that I could showcase to you in a let's say in a visual way would be the letter T, where you've got a vertical stroke really focusing across on those areas where you're extremely strong in, where you put majority of the time in terms of investment, and along with a lot of different participatory exercises. So that's why it's called lopsided. There's a lop within the profile, there's a certain focus within the profile, or let's say the strength. Now, just one thing to add up is that that strength or that lop does not have to be connected to the major you're studying. It can be in any area, but you need to showcase your strength, your capstone activities, your passion activities in which you spend majority of the time. So that's the narrative in which US officer is overall looking at admissions. Now I'll move on to the next platform that we will be discussing, a very important platform. As a matter of fact, majority of the colleges within USA would be going through the common application. So the common application, as I've also said before, is just one of the platforms students use to apply to US college. Apart from it being a very popular one, as I said, majority of the colleges do. Sorry, just give me 1 second. Yeah, so the point that I was discussing that it is one of the most popular platforms, but at the same time, it only allows you up to 20 applications at once. Now, apart from your common applications, the top system that I was also talking about, it's called the UC system, which is there for University of California. It has its own platform. It's a single system in which you could apply to all of their 9 undergraduate campuses at once. Apart from that, you've got universities of Texas, which primarily uses the ApplyTexas system. Along with that, MIT, Georgetown do also have their own unique setups. Now, we'll just be looking across all of these five, boxes. They are present in majority of these platforms that I will be quickly making those changes and giving you overall how does it really make a difference dependent on the platform that you're going. So we start off with the basics, the foundation, the academics. So this includes your SAT score, your grade 12 predicted scores. It will also have your transcripts till 9th to 11th. and an English proficiency test score if you're doing any of the local Indian state boards or CBSE or ICSE for the matter. Now, if you're using the Common Application Platform or the MIT platform, all of these things remain the same. If you're going for the UC system, the UC system is a SAT blind college school set of schools. So they will not just be having that SAT part in the first column, as you'll be able to see within the academic section. Now, moving across on to the second one, which is your extracurriculars, you will have to list up to 10 activities that really showcase who you are beyond your academics. These activities could be academic, they could be, various clubs within school, they could be sports, music, internships, community service, research papers, both academically and non-academically done. But a really important thing is that they need to be from grade 9 and beyond. So this section gives the first glimpse of your personal story. The theme of who you are really starts to take shape from here. So firstly, the platform differentiation. So if you're on the common application platform, you're putting up 10 activities. There are no certain headings. You've just got to list down 10 activities, which for your thought process, you can divide in your mind academic and non-academic. And within non-academic, you can think of sports, music, arts, various different subheadings that come across. Academic, there are also very much different subheadings like research, you've got internship, you've got courses, you've got competition. But while you'll be submitting it onto the common application platform, it does not have any certain category. Now, apart from common application, UCs also do ask for various amount of activities, but within UCs, you will be listing up to 20 activities, but put across onto four categories, which will be volunteering, work experience, academic program, and then the fourth one, a little bit much more open and open-ended for you to put as many and diverse activities as your extracurriculars. Now, MIT on the other side will be only asking you to list down your top four, but it lets you go down extremely in deep, almost 200 words each. So if you look across in your common application, which is one of the most briefest way, you've got 150 characters. From 150 characters, you can almost go up to 200 words while you're describing for MIT. Beyond that, this is the most focused part of our conversation today, the personal statement. Now, moving from your 10 activities, the admission officer wants to go deeper into your overall profile. That is your personal statement. When it is a 600-word essay, it is called within your common application, it's called your your common application essay, or the personal insight questions, PIQs, which are they in UC, gives really life to your overall activities, to your overall application. As I had initially said, that this is the heart of your application. It's often said your personal statement grows out of your activities, but it is not a listing of your activities. It is a personification of those activities that have been put across. So let's just see how this comes across. As I've just said, within your common application, you'll be having 7 prompts. Within those 7 prompts, you'll be selecting as one prompt from the list, and you would be answering all of those specific questions. From when you move over this whole aspect in terms of your UC, you'll be given 8 prompts. From those 8 prompts, you'll be selecting 4 of them. And UCs does not call that personal statements, they call them PIQs, personal insight questions. And on the other side, MIT would ask you a series of short answers, essays, instead of one long personal statement. And ApplyTexas, used by UT Austin, has its own essay prompts like topic A, which often centers around your identity or environment. Now, if you're going through the common application system again, you'll have a lot of supplementary essays to give, because do remember your single common application essay is going to be going to all of the colleges. So then the supplementary essays are the ones which the colleges use to really identify those key criteria that allow them to judge that if you as a student is a real good fit for their institute. Now, apart from the common application system, when you look into the UCs, they do not have a separate essay, because as the PIQs, the 4 of them are very specifically written for the University of California. They do not need to move across into certain kind of different essays. Now, MIT, again, it is the same set of various questions and prompts that you'd be asked. But if you really see the essay prompts would be things around community, around challenges that really excite you. And UT Austin also has short answers that act as supplements, like explaining leadership roles or career goals. Now, apart from these documents, you've got two letters of recommendation that you'll be putting across, and at the same time, you've got your interviews. One quick thing, your UC system does not have any process of taking a letter of recommendation. MIT will be asking for one STEM and one humanity letter of recommendation, and UT Austin requires one letter, but submitting a second one would help. And as I already said, UC interestingly do not require or accept letters of recommendation. So for them, everything must come through your own voice. Now, at the bottom, you can see the key dates. So let's wrap this section with the timelines. Your 1st of November is your early action, early decision timeline. So schools like MIT, Georgetown, UT Austin, they all have that priority deadline. Otherwise, your other deadlines will be coming around 1st of January, where your results would be coming through to you from January till April. And you see again applications open in October, but they can only be submitted between 1st of November to 30th of November. So there is no late submissions allowed. So the earlier you start preparing, the more time you would have to understand all of these various aspects. Now, this is just to quickly run you through your academics hold a 40% weightage in all of this, which is your grade 12 scores, your SAT and ACT results. Coupling that with the 10 activities or the 20 activities, take 30%, and your overall application, be it your UC, be it the MIT one, would be taking up the next 30%. Now, how do different universities really ask for different kind of personal statements? So this is where I had created this table. Your common application is a personal statement in overall one essay up to 650 words that you submit to all the schools on your list. This essay is really central to your application because it gives you the chance to tell your personal story and share what you are beyond your overall numbers. It is really very critical to be authentic and to choose a topic within those seven prompts that you would be having that really reflect your core values, your experiences, that you have grown up as a person. It should be a narrative that highlights a pivot moment or series of moments that have really gone on to shape your life. Now, when you turn this over and you look at the University of California system, instead of one personal statement that you select from an option of seven, you would be doing four personal insight questions, which is 350 words each, and you'll have a pool of eight to select from. So these PIQs collectively serve as your personal statement and a more focused way to present specific aspects about your overall experiences. The format is more direct, asking for specific insights like into your areas like leadership, into intellectual curiosity, challenges that you have faced, or overall your cultural identity. Right now, beyond these two platforms, you do also have the UT Austin system, in which you would be writing this SAA, which is tell us your story in 500 to 700 words. This is very similar to the common application personal statement, but with slightly different framing. The SAA is narrative focused essay, while you explain who you are, how you really think, what's really important to you. The admissions committee will be looking for insights into your background, into your overall interests, and the various passions that you'll be having. Now, along with these three platforms, you also do have the MIT one, where MIT really does not ask you for a traditional personal statement per se, as you'd have seen with the first three different kind of them. It really asks you for five short answer prompts. These responses between each prompt will be approximately 100 to 250 words each. MIT questions are highly specific and focused on your personality, on your motivation, and how you approach problems. These questions are an opportunity to show MIT how you really think and reflect upon experiences in your life. Right. So now, as we have seen the different formats and how they go across, let's also just see the kind of restrictions that they are there across each of these different formats themselves. So the common app personal statement has a new formatting restriction that you must be adhering to. So let's just go over them and make sure that your essay is pretty much ready to submit. Now, the first thing is your word count. The essay limit is up to 650 words. While that does sound like a lot, it's easy to go over the limit without realizing it. So be mindful of your word count, but remember that it's about quality, it's not about quantity. Focus on making each of those words really count. Now, overall, in terms of formatting, the common application allows you a rich text formatting like bold, italics, underlining. The format is kept simple, so you could focus solely on the content, no fancy fonts, just plain simple text. And within the structure, the essay should be clear, it should be well structured. Use paragraphs to organize your thoughts and break up the text to make it much more readable. Right. In the same way, you've got your UCs where your PIQs, you've got four required responses, which each of them being capped up to 350 words, which is a lot lesser than what I've just told you in terms of your UCs, where it is going all the way up till your 600. So, unlike your common application, which goes all the way up to 650 words, and it is largely written in a question and answer format rather than in an overall essay. In terms of UT Austin, you've got a 500 to 700 word restriction. It's more narrative in style. While MIT, on the other side, you have got five responses, 100 to 250 words, direct and extremely topic oriented. Now, a couple of tips that you can, typically see: don't really use rich text formatting or attachments. You really cannot exceed the word limits. It really, the portals may even cut off and remove any access text. So that will really just make your overall some person statement incomplete. Plain structures, paragraphs, line breaks, and white spaces. These are all the tools that you should be largely looking across. So aim for clarity and, let's say, concise without really using your own unique voice. Now, just moving across, what is the common app personal statement? So this is really the heart of your overall application. The purpose of this is to really give you an opportunity to tell your story. It's not about just listing achievement. It's really about showcasing your personality, the character, the growth. This is your chance to explain the why behind your experiences and how they have really gone ahead and shaped you. What admission officers really want from you, and what it's not. That's one of the most important things. It's very important to remember that your personal statement or your overall document as a person statement or your PIQs are not a resume. It's not about listing every achievement or extracurricular activity. Rather than it's really an essay to explore one's aspect of your life in depth and really focusing on how it was influenced for your perspectives and for your ambitions. Now, overall, as I've told you that, it is really a powerful tool that it really goes on to describe you beyond those numbers, beyond those applications, and gives a very clear cut understanding of yourself in front of the admission officers. And now that really brings us across from like what is the common application, how are you being put it across to your admissions officer? So what is the admission officer looking for? So one of those primary thing is he's looking at authenticity. The admissions committee wants to hear your voice. So try to be genuine, try to be authentic. Don't try to impress by using, let's say, complicated language or just trying to sound like someone else. The best essays really feel personal and they feel honest. The second thing that they look across is self reflection. Show how you think about your experiences. Don't just recount events. Explain how they have shaped you as the person that you have become and what you have learned from them. Demonstrate self awareness and growth. And coming to that point, they're really looking across for growth and transformation itself. So, admission officers are looking for evidences that you have grown from the experiences. Highlight how you have changed from what lessons you have learned, particularly when overcoming challenges. And that's what really comes across to that emotional impact. A good essay should evoke emotion, whether it's sympathy, be it curiosity, be it inspiration. Don't be afraid to be vulnerable. Don't be afraid to share stories that really have that right kind of emotional depth. And at the end, for your strong voice and clear thinking, your essay should be well organized, should be easy to read, show that you can think clearly and communicate your ideas effectively. Right. Now, just moving on to the next slide, which is just taking you through what are the different common application prompts. So you do have the ones you could see on the right side of your screen, all of them listed here. You've got your background or identity one, which is really around what defines you. Now, this prompt is ideal for exploring your cultural identity, your family background, or unique characteristics that have really shaped you. The second one is your obstacle or failure. So, you can see what challenged you, what did you learn? This is a great prompt if you have faced significant challenge or failures and have learned valuable lessons from them. The third one being now the belief or idea. When did you question something? So this prompt invites you to reflect on how you have questioned your beliefs or your ideas and how those moments have really gone on to shape you. The fourth one being gratitude. Who helped you? How did you change? How did it change you? This one is about showing gratitude, reflecting on the people who you've impacted your life. Now, the other one being personal growth. Here you can explore moments where you have experienced or significant personal growth as well, very similar to something which also comes across in your obstacle and failure prompt as well. Sixth, we move on to your passion and fascination. So this prompt is for those who have a deep passion or curiosity about the subject and want to really explore in their essay. And lastly, you've got the open topic. So write on any topic of your choice. If your story doesn't fit into any of these previous categories, this prompt gives you the freedom to explore whether whatever is rather much more important and meaningful for you. Now, choosing the right prompts. So always start if how start by looking at all of these various essay topics in conjunction to be looking across at your overall profile. So here's just like a quick guide. So if your identity is shaped by your path, choose prompt one. If you have overcome failure, consider prompt two. If you really love diving deep into ideas, go for prompt three. You could also look at prompt six. If your story doesn't fit neatly into any of those categories, the easiest selection go on for prompt seven. Now, what really makes an essay great? One of the most important things that majority of the people will actually come across and tell you that it is the story. Now, does your essay tell a proper compelling story? Your story should be meaningful. It should be personal. It should be something that only you could write. So make sure it is authentic and reflects who you truly are. Secondly, it reveals growth and a change. A great essay shows how you have grown or changed from an experience. It should really reflect your journey of self discovery or the lessons you have learned. Third, the important point that comes across then is it should feel authentic. Don't try to sound like someone else. Write in your true voice and try to be as real as possible. Authenticity is what really resonates with all of the admission officers. Now, moving on to your fourth point, use as much as vivid detail possible. Paint pictures with your words. Use vivid descriptions to help the reader feel like they're experiencing the moment right there with you and not just reading about it on a document being reflective later. Fifth, reflect on the just go beyond just describing these events. Share what experiences really meant to you and how it has really impacted your life, moving forward in this specific place. Now, at the end with an insight, leave the reader with a powerful thought about who you are becoming. A strong conclusion will tie your essay together and really leave a lasting impression on the admission officers. Right, these are a couple of common mistakes that you should really avoid, and they happen quite frequently, even though you'd be thinking that this doesn't really refer, but trust me, they do still happen. So don't list initially. The first one that I'll say, don't list it as a list activity. It's not. The person statement is not a place to list all of your extracurricular activities or achievement. Instead, it should tell a story that shows who you are beyond your resume. Secondly, avoid being overly polished. Authenticity is the key. Admission officers prefer genuine essays, overly polished essays. Be real. Don't really try to impress. Try to show connect. Now, third, don't rewrite your resume. The personal statement should be a personal reflection. It's not a reiteration of your resume or the 10 activities or the 20 activities that you may have just submitted prior. And then again, you should also be avoiding vulnerability. Real stories often include struggle and vulnerability. So don't shy away from sharing your challenges or difficult moments. Then moving on to you're skipping the revision. That is one of the primary mistakes a lot of students do. Remember, your first draft isn't going to be perfect. Revise multiple times to ensure the clarity, the flow of your personal statement. Lastly, neglecting your proofreading. Typos, grammar mistakes can really distract the person from your overall message. So always proofread your essays to make sure that it's polished and it's error free. Now, moving to away from the whole description of the personal statement, we are now moving into our approach itself. Now, if you look into this personal statement paragraph, I'll just encourage everyone to have a quick read over it and then I'll give you a description. So I'll just give you 30 seconds to have a quick read. Right. So if you look into this essay, how the student has really answered six very important questions, right? Why did I do this? So it was just something that the student did, to stay fit after school. What did he learn about himself? That he really learned that, being a leadership is not always claiming. It wasn't always being the loudest field, but it was about being consistent. It's about sure waking up early, encouraging others. And, that's also the challenges that he faces in answer. Now, how did I impact someone else? Being that the question, you could see how he has spoken, how he helped a shy junior, and he spent weeks helping him with drills until the person found his, rhythm. Now, how did this shape the world that he sees around him? So he really understood that leadership is really about being from the front. It's about really lifting others up. Now, eventually, what values does this reveal about me? If you read this sentence, football taught me discipline, empathy, and importance of small moments. Those lessons now shape how I show up in every part of life. So if you see this personal statement, a paragraph, it's talking about football. Someone may also think and can be forgiven for misunderstanding and saying that, if football has been just played for staying fit, it should not be on the personal statement. But if that football or that activity is going on to really define you in a very close way, I and we as an organization do really suggest it should then become an important part overall in your personal statement. Now, moving on to the next slide in terms of how do we start to work with kids, where we have seen in the past where kids only have and parents together, 93% of them only have understanding of seven career options. Now, apart from that, you have seen all of these things that go into the personal statement. You are all, this is a very, let's say complex university application system. And there are various different systems and platforms that you're applying for. And again, the path for this application itself becomes extremely personalized and extremely complicated. So how do we help students? We start across with the various inputs in terms of psychometric tests, where we then follow it up with college counseling, profile building, application admission guidance, and also go all the way up to the visa and the stay assist guide, where then the final outcome becomes getting your admission into a university and then traveling abroad to it. Just to share you across, a couple of preparation timelines that we largely work across with. This is a student from grade 9 to 10th, where in the initial years, we do the candidacy building. We understand the interest, we help them build their strength, and then, make them join clubs, courses, competitions, make them work on personal statements throughout all of this time period, on letters of recommendation. And then eventually, once the student gets into grade 11, we help them across with their subject selection, with the capstone and competition selection. And obviously, towards the end of 11, there's a long time that is spent across with standardized testing. And then eventually, the 12th is used to be compiling and sending across with all of the applications. We can divide our work across in these three different pillars across academic and test prep, profile building, and admission prep. Right. Just to showcase you a couple of success stories. This is a student that we had worked with within Dartmouth, and he had a fantastic score within SAT and had done very well within mathematics, had a got an award within the essay competition at Oxford, and he thrived at national level basketball. And he really did help to found an NGO. He was a solo singer, performed at charity events, and it was this overall strong profile, this whole list of activities that was properly showcased in the personal statement that landed up him in Dartmouth. This is a quick view over a student who went into Rice while preparing with us, where she became a chairperson of the Model United Nations after excelling in roles like delegate, press secretary, and communications head. She applied into Rice University, and she was encouraged to pursue the scholarship in the Women in Leadership category. Right now, just to leave you with a couple of resources, you could join us every weekend. We do a different topic that we really deep dive into and try to give you as much as information on that important aspect of admission. And at the same time, you could use the QR code at the bottom to access all of these various newsletters. It's another platform that we use across to leave up as much as information. Two more platforms, one being on YouTube, the various podcasts that we have, and at the same time, the WhatsApp community that you could join across. Anyone interested for a SAT, diagnosis can use this QR code, and we would be able to give them a good understanding of this certain standing. And at the end, if you want to get your personal statement and application reviewed to get into your dream college, you could use this QR code and just register. We'll get back to you and give you that complete support. Right. So that's what I had planned across for today's session. I've left the last minutes just for Q&A. If there are any question, you could drop it onto the chat section now. Otherwise, I will just stop the share. Right. So if there are any questions, just use the chat and I would be just answering you to the best of my ability as of now. Otherwise, we can conclude the session for today. Right. Thank you for joining across.